The Invisible Revolution: How Black Women Are Silently Remaking American Business. Good morning, everyone. Today, I want to take you on a journey that will fundamentally challenge what you think you know about entrepreneurship, innovation, and success in America. This journey began when I had the extraordinary privilege of sitting down with Shannon Simmons, a visionary whose work has not only transformed countless lives, but has completely rewritten the narrative of who drives economic progress in this country. Shannon Simmons isn't just a thought leader, she's a truth teller whose unflinching commitment to amplifying marginalized voices has created ripples of change across industries. Her ability to illuminate the invisible contributions of those society routinely overlooks has made her one of the most important economic voices of our generation. What she shared with me didn't just surprise me, it shattered my understanding of American entrepreneurship. Here's the revelation that stopped me in my tracks: Black women are not merely participating in entrepreneurship, they are dominating it. They are launching businesses at 6 times the national average, outpacing every other demographic group in America. 6 times. Let that sink in for a moment. Despite facing persistent wage gaps that rob them of hundreds of thousands of dollars over their careers, despite systematic underrepresentation in leadership positions across every major industry, despite having access to less than 1% of venture capital funding, Black women are driving economic innovation at unprecedented rates. This isn't just impressive, this is revolutionary. And yet, it's happening largely outside the spotlight, away from magazine covers and business school case studies. It's a quiet revolution with profound implications for how we understand success, resilience, and leadership. But here's where Shannon's insights become truly transformative. The conventional narrative tells us that success follows a predictable formula: overcome obstacles, achieve goals, celebrate victories, repeat. We're taught to imagine successful entrepreneurs as unstoppable forces who have it all figured out: polished, perfect, and perpetually confident. The reality Shannon illuminated is far more nuanced, far more human, and ultimately far more inspiring. The journey of success is rarely linear. Even the most accomplished professionals remain, in their words, a work in progress. They continue facing challenges like mental health struggles, imposter syndrome, and the complex balance of personal and professional responsibilities. Success isn't the absence of struggle, it's the commitment to keep moving forward despite it, sometimes because of it. This perspective doesn't diminish their achievements, it elevates them. It shows us that greatness isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. Let me bring this to life through the stories of 3 remarkable women who embody these principles. Imagine walking into a room filled with beauty industry executives, predominantly white men, and declaring that you're going to revolutionize the cosmetics industry by creating products specifically for women of color. That's exactly what Melissa Butler did after leaving her secure Wall Street job. Butler founded the Lip Bar because she was deeply frustrated with beauty standards that excluded women of color, but her path wasn't smooth. When she pitched her company on Shark Tank, the investors didn't just reject her, they ridiculed her. One even called her lipstick colors ugly. As a Black woman entrepreneur, she faced the dual challenges of industry resistance and severely limited access to funding. Most people would have given up. Butler doubled down. She leveraged social media to reach underserved consumers who had been ignored by mainstream beauty brands. She maintained unwavering authenticity, focused on inclusivity, when industry experts told her to tone it down. Today, the Lip Bar is a multi-million-dollar brand sold nationwide at Target stores. What makes Butler's journey particularly powerful is her background. Raised by a single mother in Detroit, her experiences directly shaped her commitment to representation within beauty spaces. She didn't just create a product, she created a movement that has inspired countless other Black female founders by proving that mainstream markets exist for products centering diversity. Now imagine starting a venture capital fund while literally homeless. That's the story of Arlen Hamilton, who founded Backstage Capital because she saw firsthand how little venture capital reached underrepresented founders, especially Black women. Hamilton faced relentless skepticism from investors who doubted her ability due to the intersection of her race, gender, and class. One investor told her bluntly, "Someone like you doesn't belong in this industry." Hamilton's response wasn't to try to fit in, it was to change the game entirely. She built relationships within diverse tech communities, raised funds through persistent networking, and made the revolutionary decision to invest exclusively in underestimated entrepreneurs. Today, Backstage Capital has invested over $20 million into more than 200 startups led by people of color, women, and LGBTQ plus founders. What makes Hamilton's story so powerful is that her background outside traditional finance circles, the very thing that created obstacles regarding credibility and access, also gave her the unique perspective that has transformed the venture capital landscape. She has fundamentally shifted conversations about who gets funded and why in American entrepreneurship. Then there's Kimberly Bryant, who launched Black Girls Code after noticing few girls who looked like her daughter enrolled in computer science programs. Bryant confronted exclusionary educational systems and a severe lack of resources for young girls of color interested in STEM fields. Her solution was brilliantly practical: develop grassroots workshops and coding camps, providing hands on experience plus mentorship from professional technologists. Today, Black Girls Code has over 20 chapters across the US and internationally, serving tens of thousands since 2011, helping normalize the presence and power of young Black girls within tech spaces. Bryant's own career as an engineer highlighted the need for structural change and inclusive pipelines early on. Her organization has received national recognition, including the Smithsonian Ingenuity Award, and its alumni are pursuing STEM careers and higher education at record rates. She has catalyzed a broader movement toward diversity, equity, and inclusion across the entire technology sector. These stories share a common thread that Shannon Simmons emphasized in our conversation: the critical importance of building supportive networks, mentorships, advocacy groups, therapy, community. These aren't luxuries for successful entrepreneurs. They're essential foundations for sustaining growth and resilience on both entrepreneurial and personal journeys. This brings me to a profound truth that emerged from my conversation with Shannon. The conventional narrative about success in America is fundamentally flawed. We've been taught that success is individual, linear, and defined by external metrics. But what these Black women entrepreneurs demonstrate is that true success is communal, nonlinear, and defined by impact and authenticity, the soft skills we've traditionally undervalued: empathy, community building, emotional intelligence, adaptability, are precisely the skills driving the most innovative and sustainable businesses today. These aren't secondary skills, they're the primary engines of meaningful success. As Shannon so eloquently expressed, this shift represents a kind of soft girl era in entrepreneurship, not a diminishment of ambition, but a recalibration of how we achieve and define success. It's about dropping the superwoman cape and recognizing that vulnerability isn't weakness. It's a radical act of self love and authentic leadership. For too long, we've celebrated the hustle at the expense of health. We've prioritized productivity over purpose. We've confused being busy with being valuable. The entrepreneurs Shannon highlighted are showing us a different way forward, one where boundaries are not barriers to success, but foundations for sustainable achievement. This perspective is particularly revolutionary for Black women who have historically carried the weight of the strong Black woman stereotype, expected to overcome every obstacle, support everyone around them, and never show vulnerability. The entrepreneurs we've discussed today aren't just building businesses, they're pioneering new ways of being, leading, and thriving that honor their full humanity. They're learning to say no without guilt. They're setting boundaries without apology. They're resting without explanation. And in doing so, they're not diminishing their impact, they're amplifying it. What's particularly striking about these journeys is how they transform personal pain into collective purpose. Each of these women encountered systems that weren't built for them, experiences that could have defeated them, and obstacles that seemed insurmountable. Yet they didn't just survive these challenges, they turned them into catalysts for change that benefits countless others. This is the most powerful lesson Shannon Simmons shared. Resilience isn't just about bouncing back, it's about bouncing forward, using challenges as launching pads for innovation that serves communities and creates new possibilities. So, where does this leave us? What is our responsibility in the face of this quiet revolution? I believe we stand at a crossroads. We can continue to perpetuate systems that marginalize the very people driving some of our most important innovations, or we can become accomplices in this revolution, actively dismantling barriers, amplifying voices, and redistributing resources and opportunities. The choice is yours. Will you continue to invest only in familiar faces and comfortable ideas? Or will you have the courage to bet on the underestimated, knowing that the greatest returns often come from the place we've been taught to overlook? Will you continue measuring success by outdated metrics that privilege individual achievement over collective impact? Or will you embrace a new paradigm that values sustainability, authenticity, and community alongside profit? This isn't just about supporting Black women entrepreneurs, though that alone would transform our economy. This is about recognizing that the future of American innovation depends on our willingness to see brilliance where we've been conditioned to see deficits. I challenge you to take one concrete step this week. Invest in a business led by a Black woman, mentor someone facing barriers similar to those we've discussed. Examine your own organization's practices around funding, hiring, and promotion. Question whose voices are centered in your industry and whose are silenced. The revolution has already begun. The only question is, which side of history will you be on? Thank you.